Alright. So I'm on 14th Street on the way to GTRI, guys. Content I want to film for you guys today is how you can fuck life in the ass instead of getting fucked in the ass. Not my words, but Jim's. And yeah, so this is some of the stuff that you can do for your content. As this guy pulls up in the sidewalk and I have to go around him. Yeah, bro, keep the sidewalks clear, bro. But yeah, guys, as I make this content, some of this shit is, there's a lot of things I want to film in this session. One of it involves this podcast intro, or this video you're about to watch. So in it, this is, with the co-founder, the person who started Blend Logic, was really big influence in my life. And me and him did like GTMDEDA, which is Georgia Tech Medical Device Entrepreneur Association. And so we ran some of that stuff. I was in Neuro Club with him. So he was very driven and it kind of rubbed off on me in osmosis. So I hope that this content that you are going to watch rubs off on you in the way that if you're trying to scale your business, scale your agency, whatever you guys are trying to do, this can help you really find clarity and focus. It's just a raw call, so we kind of go all over the place, but really it can help you guys make your sales team more engaged, more believing in the mission of what you guys are trying to accomplish. So, you know, even with my own business and the sales team I invoke, and you know, trying to get my brothers, cousins, everyone involved, part of it involves that you just have to learn how to evoke that emotion. Get that feeling of people getting pumped up, excited for the mission, and then yeah, you just hit it. So that's gonna be the video you guys are gonna watch, and then I'm gonna be filming more content. You can check it out on my personal branding, personal YouTube channel. I'm gonna be doing a video essay, so I'll leave links below so you guys can see that. And yeah, let's watch that video.
God, how did they don't have guns yet? Oh my god!
Swag?
Hey Alan, what's up?
Swag, bro?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah.
You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. This is being recorded, FYI. Got to.
That's cool. Sorry for the background noise. I'm walking home.
Cool.
Yeah,
I'm taking
dude,
notes.
so
I got
I
my
was
notepad out. I'm taking notes.
So yeah, dude, I feel like one thing that we've been struggling with, at least in our company, is that we engaged a lot of advisors kind of early on that like were really active for a while, and then we made a few product pivots, and they became less engaged because they took full-time jobs. And I've been really thinking through like, how do I like reach back out to people like in our company that are still affiliated with us, and make them like fully embedded within our new direction. And like they have equity, whatever. It's like not a lot, but it's like it's enough. Or it's like, let's figure it out. So I've been like calling everyone last month, figuring out like how best to like motivate them, get them involved. Okay. And I'm finding there's like kind of a pattern. It's been like 6 or 7 people. Is that like how do you do that? Like because I'm a huge fan of building people up within my company, as opposed to like just like letting people go or anything else because the directionality changed. Sure. Because I feel like building people that you've already worked with is probably a better investment because you've already put a lot of time, effort, energy into working with them and know what to expect. So basically, and also like simultaneously,
you don't want sunk costs.
Not only sunk costs, it doesn't have to do with that. It's just, I feel like that's a good culture. It's like we don't let people go. Like we're always going to keep a door open. Like, and even if they're not like, they still can contribute to like what we're doing. Because like, I think we're good at selecting people. It's just sometimes they have a family and they need to like make ends meet, and like we can't pay them their full salary. And
yeah,
I understand that. So I've been really trying to think about that. And some people just fall off the face of the map, and this is a common thing.
Okay.
And I've been really trying to figure out like how best should we make everybody fully immersed back in our new direction and be fully engaged to the maximal extent possible,
Yeah.
given their current incentives and what we did before. So I've been making calls, and like one thing I'm finding common pattern is like perceived value is very important. Like thinking a company is going to succeed or fail definitely has an impact on whether somebody's motivated to be with you or not, like more engaged. And I think that's like one thing that like having our product out, like having stock price and seeing that their options are worth something now, like versus where they were before, and like all these things, like the direction has shifted a bit, you know, or like something is more valuable. And I've noticed that's like a huge motivator probably to like say, hey, like you should probably be engaged because your options are going to keep increasing in value. So from a financial perspective, but then beyond that, like I feel like the mission of the company, I feel like there's some people that just want to be affiliated because they care about our mission. It's less about the money. And there's like everyone in between is motivated, right? People just want to make money, and other people like care about a mission. And there's always that gray area spectrum between 0 and 1 between those two metrics of motivation.
Yeah.
So I've been doing these calls and like putting them and plotting them on the spectrum and figuring out how do I engage them. And it's really interesting, at least for some of the people that might be out there, to think through it and like how do you incent people to be fully engaged. And so like one thing I did is we're building up a sales team, a lot of the people that are less engaged are on the sales side. And I decided let's just bring all of them all together in one place for next week, next Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And like they're all motivated and like setting vertical leads because I'm a CEO and I don't have time to like explore every vertical out there for our technology, which is a survey product.
Yeah.
I only can pick one to really focus on
Sure.
to grow and scale our company in the research vertical.
Okay.
So these other advisors that are like less engaged might be good to like look at alternative markets that I don't have time for in their spare time, so they don't have like a lot to do, but enough where it's adding business value and they're motivated.
Sure.
So just figuring out, I feel like structurally, new roles, scoping and reassessing roles, I think this is like something I'm working on. But I think I found how to do it. It's just it's an art form, and it's really just plotting
master craft.
Yeah, it's kind of like plotting the spectrum of like mission versus financial reward, and figuring out the right role and incentive for them to do it. And sometimes the equity options are the best if it's like showing an uptick in value over time, you know?
I think with that though,
like 10x what they were.
From my experience, is like when I watched Pranav, because he's like, you remember Pranav, right?
Yeah.
So he used to, when he got first into like coding and iOS apps, and back when that was like the market, he was like, he said all these people were like, yo, I have the next $1 million idea, I just need you to code it, and it's going to be on equity. And it's like, even that, because I think about that, to him, like he wasn't motivated on that. So I was like, what's, like there's going to be a trade-off between equity.
Yeah, so coders, so I don't think you can get a coder to do work on sweat equity, because like the only way a coder is going to do that is they care for the mission, right? Like they give a shit about the company. And that's how, like some of our developers are motivated on equity because they're previous consultants. Our CTO has been on equity since the beginning of our company, and he's never been paid by us.
Yeah.
But he's like active weekly, and he cares about our mission. Like he really cares about our vision, and like this is something he wants to see in the world.
Yeah.
So I just think there's a balance there. Going back to like that value chain and like plotting it. And some people are maximum on that side, and he has a day job in CC.
Yeah.
And that's going away soon, but like, and he's not going away. Actually, he's just rebalancing it in a way that if we raise money, like investor money, it could be more full time.
True.
So.
Gotta get that OPM.
But
bro.
yeah,
gotta get that OPM.
But I mean, it's going back there. Like I think like the advisor. So a lot of these people are sales advisors to us, or marketing consultants. Like going back to what you do.
Sure.
And I feel like there's like just an art form of like taking them from uninspired to inspired. You know, like
I mean, that's why I'm doing
taking them from like less engaged, like engaged, and it's just like it's interesting.
Bro, I keep telling you, I keep using the hooks that you got me like years ago, where it's like there's two people in life, the ones who get boned or the ones who bone life. I'm just like, huh, like I'm just gonna do that. The other.
It's true though. It's true. I mean, it's like you choose to be, I guess, using the value of others, or you create value.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. There's also a spectrum in that. Like you could be working like Burke does at a company, and you're adding value as a quality assurance person, but like it's not creating new value, it's sustaining the existing value that was created from X company. So
sure, but companies need that.
It's sustaining, and there's plenty of books out there that use different words, like sustaining versus disruptive innovation. You know,
slicing pie, bro.
Expanding the pie.
Slicing pie book, bro.
Yeah, slicing pie or expanding the pie itself. You know,
bro. That's
beyond
what I'm
where
saying.
it's at.
When I use my cultural references, and I'm like, I be in the kitchen making pies, which is a song.
Yeah.
But it's like that same concept. It's like, okay, like instead of eating pies, I'm just gonna go bake pies or like inspire people.
I don't know, man. I think the inspiration's important, but I also feel like there's something else too. Like I think the extent to which you're devoted to what you do.
Yeah.
People are gravitated towards that. Like a lot of people aren't as fully committed to what they do, but when you see like we've been at this for 3 years, and when you see people stay with you for 3 years through like various cycles of things, and they're still there, there's something to that.
Yeah. Okay. So on that note, what do you think about serial entrepreneurs? Because I've been thinking about when you first connected me with like Matt Dreamer, and I remember he was talking about how he wanted to be like how programmers work like 18 hours a day, and we were doing that pitch deck. I was like,
I don't know.
What were you saying?
Are you still there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm listening. Like Matt Dreamer and
yeah, because I just remember. Well, I was like, because I hear what you're saying with that, but then there's also this thing where people want to like freely move. So it's like, okay, are you gonna be one thing, or is it like, oh, I'm gonna be a serial entrepreneur? Which either way works.
I don't know. I also was doing 4 things at the time I made that pitch deck. So like I was like.
Yeah.
I made a lot of those materials myself, and like there wasn't like a equal effort from everybody in that group that like.
Yeah, I know.
It wasn't going to succeed because of that.
Yeah.
Like there wasn't like somebody else was picking up the needle and like raising the money for it. Like it would have been probably me.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason why it fizzled out, I think.
Yeah, but even in like, it's like I don't keep up with that dude, but I still think about it, and now it's like, in my own experience right now, it's like I agree with what you just said. It's like, dude, blend logic, basketball, digital marketing, inspiration. Like that's it. That's all I'm gonna do for the rest of my life. Just like do that.
There's also things about that I'm not going to say here publicly because it's recorded. So it's okay. Like it is what it is.
Well, we could like, table that, and then I'll tell you when it's not recorded, or we could edit it. It's up to you. I edit shit if you want me to. All I have to do is make a loud
Don't edit it. No. So just don't record. Like just take this part out. So
no,
this part.
Say it at the end.
Like,
say it at the end. Say it at the end. Because
okay,
basically,
fine.
This will be on the private consultation inner circle.
Fine.
Okay.
That's cool.
I'll take a note.
Yeah.
You were gonna say something about me, or what were you gonna say something about?
No, I'm not mentioning it. We'll just talk about it later.
Okay.
Fine. Just like a lot of anecdotes with it has nothing to do with like that group in general. It has more just to do with like human motivations and how human beings like see like why were we doing that would be like the question. And when you break it down between your mind, my mind, Lauren's mind, and Matt's mind,
I don't know why they do
there is
it.
some asymmetric. Yeah, there's some. Well, if you like break it down, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to break it down publicly because I didn't want to like
Okay.
have.
I mean,
Uh,
I'll say
I don't want to say things that aren't true.
sure. I can say my stuff, like, and you can tell me if this is what your
Yeah, so you
perception
can
of it.
speak. You can speak to. I can speak
When
to why I was
like
doing it.
when I'm trying to recall, like, so of course we've talked about before, like how everything is like all perception of it now, and I have a bias. So basically, I remember I was like, we were doing that GTMDEA, I think at the same time, and I saw you were doing that stuff, and I was like, dang, this guy is working at another level, and it was almost along the same lines of like, I was already aware of the concepts of like osmosis, of like if you just hang out with someone, I'd feel social pressure to like up my game. So I was like, well, here's an opportunity to do it, and I think it could be a good value exchange from what I've offered you before, and also I could get osmosis to stay inspired or get inspired, stay inspired, whatever the thing was at the time. So that's what I think I remember is why I did it.
Dude, I think it's cool, and also like, Andrew Wu, like he went on and started like a entrepreneurship club at Northwestern,
Yeah,
and like now he's like
I haven't
doing
talked
like
to him
venture
in a long
stuff.
time. Yeah,
But like he's actually, I feel like that's like there's a few anecdotes, and I'm like there's plenty of others that happened as a result of that club that I think are like really great, like amazing things that probably were correlated,
sure.
with activity.
Yeah,
So a lot of people look at this value as in such a narrow way, like how
Yeah.
much money is this organization producing per year?
yeah,
Well, in that case, that's not like a good value definition for the impact that had on the culture of you, others, and countless others, where like just that activity probably led to like a lot of spiritual or personal growth among hundreds of people
and yeah, and so
globally.
like that's why
Uh,
I do the
so
things now is like, because I was like, well, why did Jim do that? And then also like, even if I show how to make money online, I think there's a different vibe that people are messaging me of like, hey, I want to, like, I feel like it's the same thing that happened to me, in my opinion. Like some people have DM'd me and they're like,
it
hey,
is. It is. It's exactly it. It's just like once you are inspired, other people want to be inspired by you or inspired by you because you're a different story and your story resonates with different audiences.
sure,
And I feel like
Yeah.
that's part of it, right? I didn't have the same background as you, and growing up in Augusta,
mm-hmm.
all the stuff you've seen in your life, especially having like a Filipino background.
Hey.
I don't think I see.
Wait, keep going.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, because
Like just in general, I think it's different. It's a different like pressure for you, like in that environment, and also like how you grew from that, from not playing basketball to playing basketball.
mm-hmm.
Like whereas I grew up playing basketball and like AAU tournaments and like
Mm-hmm.
just in general, like I was like at national tournaments competing in 7th grade
For sure.
nationally. Like it's like a different group,
Uh-huh.
in some sense. Like you're self-learned and other people were learned through the process. And I
Just the
think that
process.
is the process of the system of training basketball people.
Mm-hmm.
Like I went through 5 coaches and like they all had backgrounds and like as you go up the ladder, like they get more and more history of like playing in leagues. And there's a difference of learning that way versus learning on the fly on your own without any external force and becoming the best, like really good at it.
But I don't think that I would say
The
that
structure you create.
I don't think that there was no external force. I mean, like one of the
There was
reasons-
structure, but I'd love to hear it. Yeah, good.
Well, I was gonna say one of the reasons I kept doing some of the stuff I did was because of the internet, and like there were just people putting out content saying I could. And I remember you came over that one time and saw some of the stuff I was watching, and like that was it. It was really just like an injection of me watching videos that created like in my opinion, like an emotional turmoil that made me want to resolve it by improving. So it wasn't. I wouldn't say it's self-sustained.
But that is self-sustained because you chose to watch those videos. Those videos didn't choose to watch you.
Okay. Yeah, I mean.
Whereas in basketball, coaches like look for players and they recruit them, and they look for them and grow them. It's different. like there's a fundamental difference there. Like when you start in a league, the good players are optimized for, and then the coaches select them for AAU leagues, and then they're grown in Sona in a culture of growth that is external to them, that isn't like the player going out to the coach, it's the coach going to the player, and the internet doesn't do that to you, except through ads. So I think like it's definitely different. Like there's more effort that you need to put in to do that, I think.
I agree.
Like a good example is like me in this book I wrote. Like I could have done a PhD in speech processing under like a professor, but I just decided to go write a book on my own. And I feel like in doing that, it was in some ways more difficult, but in some ways easier. And I might not be as good as some people who graduate with PhDs at what I do, but at the same time, like it's leading to more impact, I think, in some ways, like training people, and I don't know.
I mean, where do you think
there's a paradox?
Where do you think that stemmed from for you? Because I remember you would tell me.
I was frustrated.
Well, literally, I know the hooks in my head of what I tell myself. Is like, well, I remember you told me that you were like, yo, all the Georgia Tech professors were like, hey, don't do that, or you can't do that. And then now that I've been studying more, it's like, oh, well, they probably said that because they were in a system and don't want anyone else to do it, like in a short.
That's 100% the reason. That's 100% the reason why they say that. They don't want other people to take the grant money away, which is natural.
I didn't say take the grant money away. What I said was they don't want people, if they believe that they have to follow certain structure or steps or rules and someone doesn't follow them, then it causes turmoil.
But the turmoil for them is losing grant money, so it reduces to that, like the next level. So you ask, why is that the case?
Okay, so you're talking about like,
and then you look at how
5 levels deep is what you're saying.
So when it's like, yes, there's turmoil. Okay, why is there turmoil? Well, there's turmoil because there's a new form of value generated in the university outside publications and writing publications. So in their mind, they're like, okay, and then you get external financing for that through corporations. And the corporate innovation budget within Kimberly-Clark, which finances some of the grant opportunities at Georgia Tech, is instead diverted from this research team within Georgia Tech CS department and into like a student organization, and that person decides to fund the student organization, and they lose money, and like that's their fear.
But is that what happened? I mean, I know you're saying that.
Subconscious fear.
Is that what happened though?
I don't know. In some sense, kind of. Did
you raise money in Neuro Club?
Yeah, we raised $25,000 from Kimberly-Clark, and then it led to a new center in neurotechnology research center. So yeah, we totally did.
Oh, in Neuro Club.
Yeah, within the organization, which is cool.
I mean, like even with that stuff though, it's like, because I remember me and you both did like research, and I was like, dude, these people working research labs in like Emory, it's like it's not really a glorified life. And I was like, why don't they just like market?
They're not happy. Like some people are happy, some people aren't. I just feel like a lot of them don't exhibit happiness because they're slave to the grant system. Like they have to write another grant, and I don't think a lot of people like. Some people like writing grants.
Sure. I mean, like that's.
I think that's optimized for the.
What were you gonna say?
I think it's optimized for like the people that have undiagnosed autism and just like to write all day without like interacting with human beings. But like I feel like it fits a lot of professors,
right,
honestly.
I just want to pause and say I'm gonna send you a Vimeo review just to remind. Is this the stuff you want posted? I'm pretty sure people will filter out because I don't try to make my stuff engaging. I try to find people who are like me and just like watched it fully. But in it, that's actually kind of funny.
I'm being like serious when I say that. Like,
dead ass serious.
Like
I'm dead ass serious.
Like if you screen them for autism symptoms, it's like the 3 major autism symptoms are hyperlexia, like very extended vocabularies with specific language, thus research terms that don't make any sense that people use for defining things in very complex ways. like monotone. A lot of inflection in the voice, like monotone, then like it kind of pitch increases. And if you listen to a lot of people in research, that's the case. And if you have like a lot of echolalia, which is like repeating other people's words or phrases or terminology. And if you look at all research papers, they tend to cite other research papers and use the same language, echolalia, in research form. So the whole system's optimized for the autism mind.
I mean,
if you look at it from like a systemic level. And then if you look at an individual level, the people that thrive at writing papers and writing grants I think tend to be optimized for that. Unless if you don't, then you have more stress, right? It's like a stress response.
But couldn't you say that is because they're following the system? So like, hey, this paper got grants, so let me write the paper the same way they did. They're trying to model what works. Like, would you really say that's autism, or like a form of it, or like isn't it just modeling what works as the system's set up?
Does it work though? I mean, do you really think it works? If it worked, then we wouldn't be spending millions of billions of dollars each year on education and tuition rising 2x each year. Look at Georgia Tech tuition rate when we went to school, and look at it now, and look at the education system and how broken it is. And why I needed to write a textbook in voice computing. Like, I wouldn't have done that if like the education system was working or research systems were working. Like, I can't even read my girlfriend's journal in Neuron that she just recently published because it's under a paywall. I can't even freaking read her paper.
Sure.
Like, is that working? Like, I don't think so, because I can't even cite the paper.
But if you think about it, though, like they rate, like from a business standpoint, they raise money to pay for people to do the research. So it's like at a certain point, people want to monetize the work they've done.
Yes, but these research papers don't do the work. It's the people that submit the papers that do the work.
That's true.
They just are the intermediary for publishing other people's work.
I feel like this is
so if you just disintermediate.
I remember we
doesn't make
talked
sense.
about this like years, like back at Tech. You were saying like, dude, the whole system's fucked.
I still 100% agree with that, and I don't think it's been fixed. Yeah. Coursera is an example of like how this system could be liberated from, I think, having a decentralized education online where the best teachers teach through a digital format, through videos. Like, you can get the best instructor from Harvard teach somebody at Georgia Tech instead of our crappy professors. A lot of them were because they didn't care about students.
I'm going to make a post about some of the shit at Tech because I don't know.
It's true. It's like they didn't like I'm not shitting on our school, but it's obvious that a lot of professors that taught us content, they didn't care. Like, when you look at these other institutions.
I mean,
so it some of them did. I'm not saying all of them. Like, I had great professors. Bill Todd is a great professor at Georgia Tech that taught me like all the healthcare economics of like how the healthcare system operates financially, and like brought in great speakers. He really cared. Example of like really caring. I'm not going to go through the teachers that did not care publicly.
I feel like. Well, dude, okay, on that note, though, it's like, even if they cared or didn't care, it's also like, I mean, I feel like we're wrapping around an idea of like, okay, so there's a system, because like some people just want to get tenure, right? And then they're like, oh, I got it, now I'm good. Right? Did you hear that? I don't know why there's like random noises.
Yeah, sorry, I was putting you on speakerphone.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was thinking it was like, I thought that the ones who didn't care were the ones who just chased tenure. And they're like, I just want to be good. In my opinion. Do you think that's probably an issue, or like?
Yeah, I think that's an issue. But 1 second.
No worries.
Yeah, one second. I was just like, there's going to be a lot of noise in a second, so I'm putting myself on mute. Well, that goes back to my point in how they're incented, right? Is once you get tenure, the notion is, I'm comfortable now. And since these people are comfortable, they push themselves to their limit. And so how can you inspire other people if you're comfortable?
Well, I mean, honestly, like looking back
Like,
on what
it's
I was
just a
doing,
question. I don't know. Like, is that the right, going back to your original statement, is the system working?
well, okay, this is what I'm saying.
Well, I don't think,
Is like,
maybe it is like for the goals of the people who are successful in the sense of publishing a lot of papers,
sure.
but volume doesn't equal quantity. And also, I feel like that leads to a lot of false memes in the world that people follow scientifically, and that leads to a lot of bad science. And I can go like through a lot of anecdotes there where like people pursue bad ideas, and like that leads to, going back to autism analogy, echolalia, and like repeating back the same memes throughout other papers by copying them, when in fact that whole premise is wrong. Like glial cells is a great example. Nobody thought glial cells had any function in the brain, but they end up having really important regulatory functions that we really never knew about. And so now we look at them in rare depth. Another example is how the immune system and the brain are connected. For the longest time, scientists believed that like the immune system was not connected to the brain, and we found like some areas where it actually was. And that's like could be the mechanism for a lot of the inflammation behind like a lot of these neurodegenerative diseases. So so those areas we never studied, and like we what funding is, and like those things are never discovered. And it's because of this like meme-like system we've created for grants.
Okay, what do you mean?
And how people are funded.
Are you saying meme, like MEME?
Yes.
Like
because you create like CRISPR, right? CRISPR is a technique, genetic editing, right? Once CRISPR is discovered and everyone's using it, well, that's great. That's cool. Like it's a meme, and everyone's going to use CRISPR.
Yeah, I know.
It's the same idea.
I want you to define your definition of meme, because you're using it. I'm not sure if you're using it from a cultural funny sense or from an actual neuroscience sense.
It's something that just spreads virally due to the attention that it draws.
Okay, sure. Okay, so going back to
I'm not saying it in the sense of being humorous, like in the cultural sense. Like the cultural sense of a meme is like something making fun of something else.
Like actual
but I also feel like
meme, like Selfish Gene, that guy who did that.
Yeah, like a meme being something that just spreads virally. And I am misusing the word a little bit in this sense. If your listeners are used to like meme stuff, like
meme
I guess
review.
Other like any social platform.
Meme review.
Yeah, but I do think like there is some truth to that.
I mean,
like anything that's controversial tends to grow faster in terms of attention. Normal. Thus, using extreme language for trying to get people to listen to what I'm saying right now.
I mean, that's why I do some of the stuff of like my marketing, where it's like, yo, I'm just gonna be polarizing, because why not? But I mean, everything is just. I mean, I don't know how it'll pan out. I'll just see how it pans out, because I'll just test it. I was gonna ask you something.
I don't know. It's just like this grant system. I'm really opinionated on the grant system because I personally have written 6 NIH grants, and a lot of them are great grants. I think even they're reviewed, and the only feedback is like I don't have a PhD or I don't have like 200 publications that are in this meme-driven category. I'm like, well, if you look at it like its basis scientifically, like why does that matter? And so like. I think track record in academia is overinflated.
Okay.
Because you got a Nature paper doesn't mean you're a good scientist. In my definition of science, it's
sure.
Because you could just be there by association, right? You could be there with like 6 other authors that are on the paper, and you were just there at the right time, and
Yeah.
it's just saying that correlation doesn't mean causation, and I think a lot of times the reviewers look for this correlation that they assume is causation for selecting good scientists.
What I wanted to say
Um,
on that is like, but that is in every industry. Like that's just human nature. It's like people want to work with winners and not work with people who are going to win, which is what you were telling me before. It's like that's why I keep doing this content stuff, because it's like,
but that's not the point. I mean, that's not the point, though. I feel like the winner mentality of saying a winner, then you got to define what is a win. And I feel like a lot of people have really, really peculiar definitions of wins. For some people, it's like generating $5. Other people, it's like generating $10,000. Other people, it's generating millions of dollars. And they have different thresholds for win. And like their dopamine goes off whenever they have impact in the world. So their definition of a win might be, oh, I want to like reach 1 million people and make no money.
sure.
So I ask you, what is your definition of a win? And what do your listeners think is the definition of a win? Because a win might be entirely different for you and them in terms of their goals. For most of the people in basketball, it's probably making more money within their like their personal training sort of regimen, or like training or whatever they do for selling their services.
I mean, like honestly, to answer that question for me, it's like, yo, well, I've been thinking about doing this stuff for a long time, like 10 years, like even this whatever you see online. And so now my definition of winning is, okay, now that I'm doing it, like first that would have been the win, like, oh man, I'm posting content consistently. Now my definition of win is how many, well, right now one of my current track records or current goals is to just like generate as much capital as possible, just to see the levels of how I could raise my business and get money, just as a what's it called, like a standpoint. And then the second thing is how many people actually say, yo, you inspired me to go do my own thing, which I like keep track of like the people who are DMing me is like, and what the sentiment analysis of it. So that's like now my definitions of win is like who's DMing me saying that they're inspired and how much money can I raise.
Yeah, it's good. I feel like a lot of people don't know what these metrics are, and that's the cause of their unhappiness.
Freedom, Jim.
I think you've thought about it a lot. Huh?
Freedom.
Yeah, but are we truly free? Like are we able to discern or become fully free? I think there's a lot of things that limit our freedom, like these subconscious thoughts in our minds of what success or failure is.
Be gone, bad thoughts.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Be gone.
And I don't know if there's like a formula.
Okay,
like
so
those
that's
things.
I'm trying to figure out.
Yes.
I'm trying to break down myself, because you're telling me, oh, well, the videos didn't watch me, I watched them. So it's like, well, what was it about me that made me watch them so that maybe other people would watch? Not like, it's not even has to be my videos, but like, you know, I'm trying to literally break down where I'm at now, because I perceive that it could be value to people.
Yeah, which is great. Like logging it in this format is great, because I feel like when I did it, I wrote like poems, or I wrote philosophy, or I wrote things. I think videos are more engaging, so that's really awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think that's a good format for what you're doing, and I can see that having future impact, like through the distribution channels of YouTube and other things.
Yeah.
So.
Because this is a true story, dude.
But I don't know. I think you're thinking current impact, but I also think like part of you is motivated towards future impact.
Well, yeah.
Of what you do now.
What you were saying with like the videos and stuff, it's like, well, it could last forever. I could literally die tomorrow if I uploaded this and someone watches this 5 years from now. I'll be like, who the fuck is this guy? It's like, oh, he's fucking dead. Well, at least he uploaded that video. But no, what I want to say is like,
right?
In terms of, because I mean, I still think about it and I use it as my content. Like one of the things that made me quit was like one of my coworkers. I was telling her like, yo, I think life is about not being comfortable, and we're trying to get comfortable, but actually life is better when you're not comfortable. and she got mad. I mean, I think it's a person-to-person thing. I've had guys get mad at me, but like I just remember she was just viscerally mad at me because I told her, "Yo, I take cold showers." I was just like, "What?" I was like, "What? Wait, what?" And what do you think that is? Like, if I tell people like, "Yo, I do all this stuff, I track my time, all this stuff," why do you why would you perceive, in your opinion, why she got mad, or anyone would get mad? I don't want to use genders anymore, but like, you know.
I think people just get mad when you're perceived as like it's a survival mentality. When you go against the norm,
Sure.
I think a lot of people don't understand it, so their natural tendency is to resist. And people naturally, go back to philosophy, people naturally, their first reaction to something they don't understand is to hate it or not like it because it makes them feel stupid, or secondly, it gives them less of an advantage than you at something. And in the economy, that's often like something useful that could generate money, and it could elevate you. You could have been upgraded in the company faster because you're doing more than your current job. So it's another like subconscious thing that probably led to that.
Okay.
It would be my like hypothesis. I don't know, but like that's like.
Sure. Yeah, that's like going back like 5 levels deep. I'm gonna make a cut here because I want to get this when I go back and edit. Yeah. Well, I think that goes to 5 levels deep then, because then it's really understanding like, okay, like everyone. No, but yeah, it goes back to like. I think it goes back to like that 5 levels why. That's what Tony Robbins said. It's like. Okay, so let's say I convince, like right now, I perceive that I've convinced myself of abundance mentality. Like you, like some of the stuff you said, like, oh, it's like slicing pie versus making new pies. Where it's like,
yeah.
So how do you get people to be like, oh, there is an unlimited amount of people or a limited amount of resources? Because I think that's what it really comes down to. Is someone would be like, oh, you're a threat to my resources. And how do you get people to?
Well, you're creating new content, new resources. So I feel like naturally the people that are threatened by that are the people that are creating other resources that compete with your resources. And the limiting factor here is time, people's attention and time. So it's kind of like, you got to figure that out. And I feel like there is still scarcity.
Sure.
With an abundance mentality.
True. Yeah,
There's still like a sense of like time.
Are
What?
you hearing random fucking noises, or is that just me?
No, I'm making noises.
No, it might be Skype. It's getting like digitized. Skype.
Oh, that's weird. Skype is like fucking with you, and somehow.
Yeah, dude,
I don't know.
they're listening to this and they're like, all right, we gotta fuck shit up.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's trying to get unjacked, unyoked. Gotta keep him.
Okay, I'm gonna mute myself, and if I mute myself and Skype is like screwed up, I'll be mute right now.
I mean, sure. Oh, I also gotta pee. Give me like 5 seconds, bro. All right, 5 seconds. I think I know what you're talking about. Wait. Check. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Say something.
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, cool. Yeah, I guess that's what I never thought about. It's time. Is even though I have abundance mentality, people don't have time. Or
they don't have time. Like that's the problem. They can't watch all your content, so they gotta choose between you and Neil Patel, right?
Did you say Neil Patel?
Yeah.
Honestly, though, it's like with some of the stuff that I've been researching on him and putting out there, I was like, dude, he just literally has a green screen. It literally does not matter where I live. He just talks in front of a green screen. And I think that could help
What's
people.
wrong with that?
Nothing's wrong with it.
That's awesome. I love it.
No, the point I want to make is that...
It's great. Like, it's amazing.
No, what I want to say is people have this perception. It's like, oh, Alan could do the stuff he does because he lives where he lives or XYZ or he has XYZ. I'm like, wait a minute. Because Neil Patel doesn't even show any of that shit. And he just literally has a fucking green screen. So I'm not saying like, oh, you guys should start making video content. But like...
No, man. So I saw one of your videos the other day. And
sure.
Or how that?
Hello?
Like your vision of things.
Oh god, dude!
Can you hear me?
Yeah, but dude, if I show you this raw video, like if I make a cut here, you'll hear there's like like I don't know how to explain this. It's probably recorded, but like Skype messes up somehow.
Well, give Skype crappy feedback. It's their codec they're using. So
Maybe.
you know the reason why that's happening? Do you know the reason why that's happening? You're calling in through the computer, and the computer sends an audio signal that is higher quality. So it's like 3.5 megabits per minute of
Sure.
like good quality digital audio.
Yeah.
And then my phone is compressed over the cell network through a codec, and it ends up being like they have to like mix the files to the lowest common denominator, being crappy phone signal quality, and then that's what's causing the weird noises, because this digital signal has to be compressed into like a lower format probably, and then that would be my guess.
To people who don't understand anything we're talking about, we're both Georgia Tech engineers, and there's a class called Digital Signal Processing. It actually was really cool. That's what you're referring to from the engineers, my engineer audience.
I think people get it, like two streams going down the same direction, and like one's like an ocean and one's like a I guess a little stream, and like when they converge, it's going to probably more be the ocean.
Sure.
It's just like the inverse relationship there.
See,
the ocean's kind of like the cell network.
That's an easier way for people to relate. They're like, most people would be like, what the is this guy talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, but back to what you were saying. You were auditing my content. You said the vision.
And you're drawing stuff like on the screen from like a blank screen, and like the drawing part gets people like from a blank canvas. You're creating something, and I think that's like what Neil Patel does in front of like a green screen. It's like creating something from like absolutely nothing, and I think that there's some magic to that. Like if you can do that well, no matter what it is, it's like selling. It's just able to sell. It's like able to sell, right? If you're able to sell nothing into something, that just means you're good at selling. Mm-hmm. But you can still have nothing.
Just true.
So what you're telling me is you want to optimize for being able to sell really well with nothing.
Sure.
Which is good and bad depending on what's on the other side of what you're selling.
Well, okay. See, to me, it's like I have a bias.
People and
I have a bias.
That's terrible.
Because I'm like, okay, because I perceive that where I'm at is this idea of creating content and creating abundance, which I perceive would bring money or bring happiness, because that's just how I'm hardwired. Does that make sense? And I think that the market wants that too. It's like, in the end of the day, people want to have some kind of like fingerprint and be like, yo, I don't just want to follow the rules. I want to make my own rules, or something along those lines. That's what I'm ultimately selling. That's the self-help market. Yeah, exactly. That's ultimately what I'm trying to sell, and I wrap it around this vessel of like, hey, you could do analytics and digital marketing, and the fact that I could break into the basketball industry means you could break into whatever industry you want. That's the product, so to speak.
I don't know. I don't think there is for me, I don't think there is a product that like I'm trying to like sell people on. I just want to be adding value to people's lives every day.
I mean, your business.
Like I am selling our company.
Yeah, your business as well.
But at the same time, there's like other things that motivate me at a deep level. That like every day I wake up and I'm like, wow, like I need to do more. I think outside the company.
Sure.
And I feel like a lot of people don't feel that necessarily, because they don't think at like a global scale. They think like, okay, my family, or like, I don't know. It's like the scale of like what they see.
I mean, okay, but this goes back to one of the things I was thinking about with all the stuff I do. It's like still in the back of my mind.
I don't think that's a bad or good thing either. Like I'm not like in saying that. I'm not saying that that's like better or worse than anyone else in the world. It's just a perspective. You know, it's like it's fine to have like a family and service the family to the best in the world ability, and like that isn't better or worse. It's just it is.
But that's the priority
of time.
That's what I think about though. I'm
going back to that.
Because my brother, who studied philosophy, would always be like, "Yo, Alan, ignorance is bliss." I'm like, what does that even mean? Like, is it good to have big vision, big perspective, or like just be in your thing? Because like I notice now, like everyone who sees me, they're like, "Oh, Alan's off in his own little world," and it's like,
well, to the world, it's good. To your family, it's bad. So it depends on the scale at which you observe. Like you're helping the world, so the world appreciates that. In a sense, you're adding value to the world. But then when you take time away from your family, well, it's a compromise, and they hate you. So
the struggle.
But you're adding more net value to the world.
The struggle.
If that's your value system of saying, "Hey, I want to help the world," sometimes you have to, so sometimes you have to just take a step and focus there and have everyone hate you. It's just like the way it is. Like, because they don't understand, or they're going to only understand when you make a lot of money, which is why it seems like that's what you're motivated to do.
Well, I just
and then, like,
are you eating cereal?
I don't know.
I heard a guy talk online. I watch videos still, and he was just like, "Yo."
I have like 10 minutes that way. I have to get off at 3.
Sure. He was just like, "Yo, just do 18-month goals." And like that was some of the stuff that you were telling me earlier, because you were just like, "Alan, you should have like not analytics, but like some kind of measure." Because it seems like you're just free flowing and like whatever comes goes. That was abundance mentality. And then now that I'm doing this, it's like, okay, let me actually start putting yardsticks and be like, well, I guess I should just do what the system is, which is money. Which I find now is like nothing's wrong with that, in my opinion. We'll see what happens, but that's
nothing's wrong with it. I think that sometimes you, in focusing on short-term gain, like in terms of like financial gain, like in the short run, you oversee the long-term return on what you could be doing. So in focusing in the short run, say consulting revenue, you miss out on building a product that could scale to 1 billion people like in year 5, that could lead to a much larger financial return.
Yeah, I mean, that's why.
So for us, for example, Neurolex, we could spend all our time servicing contracts to build Alexa applications for third parties as a service.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's plenty of companies out there that do that. They're making lots of money and they're VC backed.
Sure.
But what happens when like Alexa goes away and there's like the problem of interoperability among all the exchanges, and
if
like
Alexa goes
building
away.
an Alexa app isn't the skill,
Sure.
Where you need to publish on Google, you need to publish on Alexa, Siri, and like Bixby, Samsung's platform, and then all these others that come about. And then your specialization becomes not outdated per se, but it's like the customer need changes. And if you started building that interoperability engine from year 1, you could have captured billions of dollars year 5 and not had a short run.
Wait, can you define interoperability? Do you mean being able to adapt?
Yeah. So like when you created an application, like an Alexa skill, that skill could also be published on all the other platforms, like Google or Samsung. Interoperability just simply meaning you're able to compare or publish on 2 mediums. I guess would be the definition here.
Sure.
There's a lot of definitions, but like that's what I meant in this context. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And so, like,
I'm going heads down, dude. March, heads down. No fucking consulting, just fucking courses, dude.
You don't need to do that. I'm just saying that that's choice. I don't think the need for marketing ever is going to go away.
No, I understand what
it's
you're
just
saying.
going to change forms.
No,
like, it's going to change.
Yeah, I've been funnel hacking people, or the idea is reverse engineering. And, like, basically it's like, there's this concept of like, hey, don't sell gold like in the gold rush, sell the fucking tools to get the gold, right? So with me, it's like, okay, well, let me just sell you guys how to do Facebook analytics. Instead of me doing it for you, I'll teach you how I've done it. Mindset change.
I think that's good and bad because people have time that is restricted. So that's only optimizing for the people that have time to watch your videos.
Okay, this is what I was going to say about time, because I've been asking, like, people.
Because I do not have time to watch your videos. I'm telling you right now. Like,
I know, and I've gotten feedback.
It's not that, like, I don't want to watch your videos. It's like I just don't have the time of the day.
Yeah, I know.
And when I get home, I have the priority of like hanging out with Jess, my girlfriend, or like reading
Yeah.
a really dense philosophy book, like from Zizek, like
Yo,
the Parallax View.
that's why with the
something.
feedback I got, it's like, oh, well, people travel to work, so I'm working on that podcast way. But the second thing I want to say was like, dude, even in health though, because one of my clients was she did bath bombs, and I was getting market research. I was like, hey, ladies, like, do you guys take bath bombs? And a lot of people were like, yo, I don't know, like, I can't take a bath bomb. That takes like an hour. I can't do that. And I was just like, this is so interesting because it seems like most people's time comes when you have luxury or you have, I guess, like, it's so weird. It's, in my opinion, just thinking about it, trying to think through it. It's like,
Yeah, just
people
look at Giphy. Like entertainment value is big.
Sure.
Like what's the point of creating a company that does gifts and just makes cool shit that makes people laugh? So Alex Chung, the founder, the company has gone from nothing to 100 million in revenue just sitting there, or 100 million in assets of like cash in the bank in New York City, and it's sitting there, and he's capturing the human emotion that it emits when you see a gift.
Sure.
And it's purely for entertainment purpose, right? When you send a gift to a friend, and that's a huge market. Now he's in like every phone, like on the earth, like he's on Facebook, he's everywhere. Like he's licensed that data set.
I use it all the time. Jiffy.
You use it all the time. And it's just like the same idea, right? But he's built a product, going back to what I said earlier. He's built a product around it. And that's what happens when you build a product. Like, it can scale to that many more people. Just something to think about. Mm-hmm. And also for everyone else to think about. Like,
but
the one-to-one versus the one-to-many.
How can you make people, or it's not even make people, just you got 5 minutes left. Quick elevator pitch. How do you make people invest time in themselves in your elevator pitch? Because you got to go at 3. Boom. Last question for the podcast.
No, you just got to be able to
sell.
Be a growth mindset. I think that you don't grow overnight. It's something you got to work out every day. And the thing that keeps you going is usually the biggest pain you've had in your life, or the thing you want to be best in the world at. And if you don't know within a sentence of what you want to be best in the world at, also what your biggest pain in life was, you don't know what motivates you. And it's 99% of the problem. It's like people listening right now. For me, my biggest pain is my brother had a schizophrenia hospitalization when I was in college. Like, it's been very painful in my family dealing with that for 8 years, 9 years of him going in and out of the mental hospital. Very expensive, very frustrating. And so, like, I really want to change that for other people. And I think the best medium for that is through this company that I'm doing. Although our survey product is not directly related to that right now because we pivoted out of that market, I believe that long-term, the only way to translate this work to reach people like my brother is to like make enough money with the survey product and then put it into R&D and translate that, because the academic system's too slow. Sure. And I think, like, I truly believe that. Like maybe I'm wrong, right? There could be a better medium.
Sure,
but I'm always open to that. But I feel like that's what drives me every day, and that's why I do what I do. That's my why, right? That's why.
Simon Sinek. Start with why.
You have a similar, and you have a similar why, right? Like you have a why, and I just feel like a lot of people. And so I want to be best in the world at. They're now taking this product, scaling it, the SurveyLex product, to millions of people, so that we generate enough revenue. So I then can use that revenue to fund this research, because I think this is the most direct way to do it. Mm-hmm. It's the way I know how to do it. It may be there's a different directionality that's better. There might be something that comes along that's better, but I always am open-minded to that. Like, it's not restrictive. But, like, I think that's, until you know those two questions, like, what do you want to be best in the world at, and what is your biggest pain, you don't know the why. And if you answer those two questions and
Bob, I got to answer
spend time working on it. Yeah.
Answer my own why.
That's it. It's that simple. Like, it's not hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think it takes years to figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it doesn't happen. It takes you listening to someone else thinking about it for 3 years and then like accepting that. It very rarely does it happen in like a minute.
Yeah.
Sometimes it does.
Sometimes it's like that
Like,
next thing. Yo, Jim, we pivoted the name. Blend Logic Consultants and Architects.
Yeah, dude.
At least that's what I'm putting on the fucking WordPress footers now.
No, you should put, yeah, that's good.
Consultants and Architects.
Awesome, man. Well, I'll hop off. I have like a call with my my team, so I have to go off. But good talking, man.
Yeah, man. You'll see this content. You'll see how I use this content.
Cool, man. Hopefully people find it useful.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Appreciate the time. That's Jim Schwebel, co-founder, original founder of Blend Logic. All right, guys. Look, some of the stuff there was pretty good in terms of like podcasting and stuff like that. Got to edit that one part. So there was parts that he told me not to put, specifically told me, and I'll go back and edit that. So that's why there's the cuts there. So, yeah, I'm probably never even going to show the raw part, but the point I want to make is like, look, there's lots of ways you can monetize videos and your business, and like really think about like making these documentation, because basically someone could be like, hey, I want to see the full video. I want to see the full video of everything. Why did you cut away some parts? Or why did you only give a snippet? It's like, okay, pay me, right? Like, nothing's wrong with that, right? Just if that's what people perceive value in, of wanting to see raw videos, and they'll spend the time watching it, because there's a huge market in self-improvement and people looking to improve themselves and get that edge so that they could, I guess, win, right? And winning's very perspective based, but I think that could help you guys with some of that insight, and really just breaking down like, you know, what this is. Like, I've had a lot of calls with Jim, which I've never recorded. This one was probably one of the first ones, 59 minutes, 37 seconds, called on Skype. And yeah, if you guys can't answer your own why, I showed you guys some of the stuff I wrote down at the same time. Right here, right? So here's my notes I took, right? It's in my daily planner. Just a call with Jim, sweat equity. Not everyone has sweat equity. Everything's choice. No club. So this is how I just basically do it. And basically the idea is scale or die, right? People don't have time, and so how do you convince people that they can make time? I mean, basically that's what I did myself. Was like, yo, why am I telling myself I don't have time to read books, watch helpful content, and maybe also see it not from an entertainment spectrum, because people watch stuff and they're just like, oh, everything's entertaining. This is a funny thought experiment. That's so funny that you could quit your job and go build a company. That's funny, or that's entertaining, right? But then actually some people would be like, oh, like you actually can, and like this is actually a real call, right? Like, I don't know how else to explain this, right? I think one of the things as you start building your own personal brand and you start trying to get marketing is you start realizing like, hey, how do you get people's attention? And maybe you become a caricature of yourself. But in it, it's like, look, I make memes. I think memes are funny. I think GIFs capture it. That's part of my congruence. If I didn't think I was like a funny dude, then I wouldn't post those memes, and I wouldn't post basketball memes. But yeah, also you can see there's sides of me that it's like, okay, well, when I went to tech, I studied and did all this stuff, and there's problems with the system. It's just be solutions oriented. So that's kind of my monologue wrap up for you guys. Hope you guys can answer those questions for yourself. For the listeners, what motivates you and what are your biggest pain points? I think they answered that question before when I started Fest. What motivates me is right now, my current motivation is that I just have this perception that I have total, I don't want to sound like a dick saying this or whatever, however you guys perceive me as, but the system that I implement that was taught to me from people is like, yo, I could just literally be a content creator, add value to the system of YouTube, even though you can consider it saturated. That's still motivation to me. It's like, well, let me bust through, let me break through, man. There's always room at the top for the best, and I'm not that great right now, but I could get better. So that's what motivates me, is that self-improvement, being like, okay, how many, and actually tracking it now, like, okay, how many subs did I have? How many views did I have? How many people watch my content through? How can I make my content more engaging? When did people drop off? This is all stuff you can do with Facebook analytics and YouTube. Like, okay, the person watched 20 minutes and then dropped off, and 80% of my audience did that, or stuff like that. And then you make content that's like this, maybe an hour long, and you're like, wow, there's like 90% of people dropped off, but 10% of people watched the whole thing. How can I monetize that? Facebook ads, YouTube ads, send them ads. Be like, yo, you're probably someone who is fucking crushing it and wants to succeed. Let's hop on these inner circle calls. Let's hop on, you know, whatever. Like, there's lots of ways to monetize what I'm doing, and I explain this to my basketball trainers and my consultations and everything I put out there. And then the biggest pain point was like, yo, I thought I was living a healthy life, and when I started Fest back in 2015, I got diagnosed with high blood pressure, and I was taking higher medicine than my mom. I've told this story plenty of times, but basically the doctors couldn't figure it out. It was so crazy because I wanted to be a doctor, and I was like, what the fuck is happening? Like, this was my whole life plan to be a doctor, and when I actually have something that's ailing me, it's like the shit's fucked up, in my opinion. I was taking 2 meds, I was getting heart palpitations, I was going through all this shit, and then I was like actually like really tired, and I was just like, fuck, like this sucks. Like, why did I get high blood pressure? And in that, then I learned about holistic health, eating healthy, eating organic, and then I just got off the medicines, and I was like, wait, what the fuck? Like, it just kind of changed my whole world of like I already had ideas of not wanting to be a doctor beforehand when I learned programming and scaling, but that like really solidified it in me. It's like, dude, I should scale this holistic health thing. And part of the holistic health thing involves marketing. I mean, like, I just don't run Fest Fitness. I run Blend Logic because there's a lot of fitness people out there who don't know, like, they have the passion in fitness, but they don't know how to monetize it. They got the 6-pack abs, but they don't know how to make it like Devin Physique or any other people who are crushing it on Instagram. And so, yeah, that's what I, like, right now I focus on basketball, but technically when I was doing Fest Fitness, I was hitting up all those Instagram influencer fitness people. That's what motivates me now. So I hope you guys can answer those questions for yourself. Hope you guys picked up some stuff from our co-founder, Jim, crushing it, hashtag crushing it like Gary Vee. And yes, Al Nafarrete, Blend Logic Consultants and Architects. Yeah, I got that last tagline down. Be sure to check me out on Instagram, Blend Logic, and at Al Nafa. If you guys enjoyed this YouTube video podcast series, be sure to check me out on all platforms. If you listen to this on Apple Podcasts, if you check out the YouTube version, I show my iPad notes so that you can see what I took notes on. If you find any value in that, I'll also leave links below for the PDF. So yeah, guys, hope that helps you guys crush it, just dominate life. Just really think about it, guys. It took me like 12 years to get here. In 12 years, I'll be popping off, or I could be dead. Right? It fucking doesn't matter. At least I made this video, and at least I perceive that someone could take value from this. Just really showcasing a day of the life. I think sometimes it's what people need. Society puts this thing where it's like, oh man, look how good this guy's life is, from like a snippet. Like, you only see people at the top, which is fine because they are also grinding. But I feel like I should at least document my rise to the top. And I don't mean to say that in like a egotistical way, but just like, you know, I perceive that if I keep doing this, I can help more people and all this stuff. Might as well show it when I have like 100 subs. Might as well show it, right? Just so you guys, like 10 years from now, maybe if I have 200 subs, be like, yo, right? Because that's the coolest thing like Gary Vee content does, is he reposts stuff from 10 years ago, is like saying the same shit, but now he has 5 million followers. It's just like, yo, that's dope. So Alan Nafa, at Blend Logic, at Fest Fitness. Check me out on all platforms. Check me out on YouTube. Hit me up if you guys run a basketball company. I'd love to scale your business. Fitness industries, fitness influencers. I'm actually partnering with someone. It's in the works, the Athlete Agency. So we're going to be building that up. Building funnels and stuff like that. So you guys, hope you enjoy the first day of March, last day of Q1. Crush your business, crush your life. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.